All right. Let's see if this works. So this is, look, I'm here, right here on the page with the thing. Look at that. Just like we're in class. All right, so I wanted to go over activity 63 real quick. So negative externality or third-party cost. This is any, again, transaction that affects somebody else. Right, affects. Oh, my handwriting is awesome. So any sort of transaction that affects others. So others meaning people that had nothing to do with the transaction. So for example, that giant party I threw at my house the other night, it was awesome. Everybody there had a good time. I had a great time. However, my neighbors didn't like the noise. So they, even though they weren't invited because they're kind of lame, that's the negative externality part of this. Is it was a transaction between, you know, me and my friends, or me and the DJ, or me and the, you know, whatever food and drinks I had there. There was economic transaction going on, but it was also producing all this noise affecting everybody else in the neighborhood. So really think of this as pollution. So any type of pollution is also going to fit into this, right? I'm just out there making cars, and, you know, why can't I dump a little sewage into the river once in a while, right? Oh, wait, no. So pollution, it affects others. So the people downstream, they wind up paying for it. Other third-party costs, things like secondhand smoke, things like reckless driving or drunk driving, cause all these extra consequences that the people who receive those consequences, they didn't ask for them. So that's an externality, kind of at its most basic. So let's say I want to produce a bunch of steel, and I've got the supply and demand for steel right here. But what if we force this steel producer to clean up the river that they've been dumping stuff into? So what is that going to change? So what does that change, the supply or the demand? And think demand is, you know, that's you, the customer. Supply, this is the steel mill supplier. They're the ones supplying steel. So as a buyer of things that are steel, whether it's, you know, I don't know, machinery that I'm buying or a new car or whatever, do I know that that steel manufacturer is dumping stuff into the river? I have no idea. So if the government steps in, though, and says, hey, stop dumping things into the river, this is going to be an increased cost for steel manufacturers, and they're going to have to lower their supply. So we get a new S1 here. So when we draw this new supply curve, we're going to have a new Q here. So here's the old, that's Q1. This is regular Q. So we're going to have a decrease in the supply of steel, and also there's the original price, and here's the new price, and an increase in the price of steel. So less is going to be produced, and it's going to cost more. But here's the thing, it probably should have been in the first place. If you've been letting the steel manufacturers just pollute all they want until it becomes a problem, this is what gets us down to here. It means that these goods are going to be overproduced. Somebody should have been cleaning this up all along. So that's what that means. Let's go to the next page. So same idea on the positive side then. So this is if, hold on, back up. If we said earlier that this is a transaction that affects others, this affects others, more importantly, negatively. So a positive externality is the exact opposite. So transaction that affects others positively. That others positively. Yeah, you get to see my face as I spell things. Positive. Pretend that says positively. I don't know how to spell today. Positively. That's probably right. So examples of that can be Kind of the big, easy example is education, right? Education is just this transaction between me, the teacher, you, the student, and that's it, right? But what happens is we have this societal benefit. Your future boss is going to be really happy that you know how to read, write, and do math. So society benefits. Maybe one of you will be so good at science, you'll, invent something that, makes the world a better place. Or you're such a good writer that you'll write something that makes people feel great. Or you develop some leadership skills that kind of lead us out of trouble. Or, you just get a good job somewhere and do well for whatever company you're working for. So society gains from this education. Other third-party benefits can be things like if you fix up your house, especially the outside of your house, fixing up the outside of your house really makes the neighborhood look better, and it probably brings up the home values in the entire neighborhood. Fixing up the inside of your house, if you go to sell it, whoever buys it next is going to pay more than they probably normally would. So even though it's just you trying to make your house look nice, you're really sort of improving the entire neighborhood. Actually, my favorite third-party benefit example I've ever heard of is there's actually, if you've ever lived next door to a bakery, I highly recommend it. You wake up in the morning and all the air outside your house smells like fresh bread. So you go to start up your car and like, oh, there's a fresh bread smell. And it makes the entire neighborhood smell like delicious bread. A bakery in the neighborhood, right? It's just a baker making buns and donuts and cakes and whatever else. But again, that baked goods smell just goes everywhere. And actually, I heard of there's a neighborhood apparently in Chicago where as you're crossing some bridge, everything just smells like chocolate. And it's because there's a chocolate factory about a mile upstream, and the chocolate smell just comes right down the river and hits you right when you're crossing the bridge. Pretty good deal. Going out and picking up pollution, it's just you thinking you're doing your part, but it's actually kind of doing more than that. So third-party benefits are these things that nobody's going to pay for, but when you kind of take this action, it benefits everybody. So same idea here. So education, if we are going to change this, remember this is, here's the demand, here's the supply. So really what should be happening with education, because we're providing this free education, if we didn't, there'd be this much higher demand for it than there is right now. So education, because it benefits people off into the future, the demand just isn't there immediately. If I run a big giant company, what do I care about teaching first graders how to read? I'm just trying to run my company. But those first graders learning how to read are going to turn into high school students who are really good at it and are smart and are good at analyzing things. I want those people working for me. So that demand should be much higher. So we should be producing more educated people, and we should be paying more for it. Okay, price is going to go up to P1 here, so the price should be higher. So education is one of those things that is underproduced, and that goes for anything else that provides a positive benefit. All right, that's it.